Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into something super fascinating, how cinema, television, and streaming platforms do so much more than just entertain us. These mediums are like cultural superheroes, transmitting ideas, educating us, and even subtly shaping how we see the world, especially for young people. There's this thing called cultivation theory by media psychologist George Gerbner, which says that the more we watch TV, the more we start to believe that what we see on screen is how the real world works. So if movies keep showing, say, corrupt religious leaders, over time we might start thinking that's what all religious institutions are like, even if it's not true. Filmmakers and storytellers craft these narratives with hidden messages, social, political, or moral ideas that stick with us because we get emotionally invested in the characters and stories. Now let's talk about serial storytelling, like TV and web series. These have an even bigger impact because we spend so much time with the characters. We get attached, we root for them, and we start to feel what they feel. Take a show like Shuga, produced by the MTV Staying Alive Foundation. It's not just fun to watch, it's designed to change behavior, especially for young people in Africa, with messages about sexual health, HIV/AIDS awareness, and gender dynamics. That's amazing, right? But here's the thing. Sometimes these shows can push certain moral or religious views to the side. When Christianity shows up in these series, it's often through characters who don't live up to their beliefs. Over time, this can make viewers question faith itself. Let's talk about Nyokabi, a central character in Shuga and a leader of the Rachels, a Christian Union girls group. From her first appearance, we see a contrast between who she claims to be and how she behaves. Her room features a sticker that reads, "I'm a virgin, 0% interest." But moments later, she's on a steamy phone call with her boyfriend Soliton. After the call, Nyokabi stands in front of a mirror, slowly touching her chest. But when her hands reach her cross necklace, it's like a moment of clarity about who she's supposed to be. Back on campus, she meets Zena, her roommate's girlfriend. Zena invites Nyokabi to a club called Bays, but Nyokabi says no and instead invites her and Asha to Bible study instead. Later, while Nyokabi is meeting with the Rachels, the Nayati Sevens rugby team burst in chanting, and one of the students, Wendo, gets swept up by them. The Rachels try to step in, and ironically, Nyokabi, who's been so public with Soliton, tries to rescue Wendo. Wendo brushes her off, and you can see why it feels hypocritical. Back in her room, Nyokabi tries calling Soliton, who seems to be avoiding her. Zena tells her he'll be at base, so Nyokabi ditches Bible study for the club, where all sorts of wild stuff is happening, and she finally meets up with her boyfriend. The first episode ends with a dramatic phone call between Asha and Zena. In episode 2, we see the Rachels' meeting space, with a board listing their values like chastity and a verse from Proverbs 31 that defines them. The group is worried about Nyokabi after seeing her club antics on social media. They think she's going astray, but Nyokabi insists she's waiting for marriage. One member points out that while she might be waiting for marriage, Soliton is definitely not waiting. Ironically, Soliton is the one exercising more sexual restraint while Nyokabi pushes for intimacy. She even prepares a seductive setting for their anniversary night, only for him to reject her again. This time, not because he isn't interested, but because he's HIV positive and doesn't want to put her at risk. That's a big reveal and adds complexity to their relationship. But it also shows how far Nyokabi has drifted from the values she supposedly holds. Later in episode 4, after Nyokabi and Soliton break up, her 16-year-old sister encourages self-discovery and hints that a pilot might be interested in Nyokabi. Then comes a controversial scene. As the Rachels gather to pray, there's an empty seat with a Bible on it. The scene cuts to Nyokabi in a pilot's uniform in an intense, intimate moment with the pilot. The show flips between the prayer group and Nyokabi, showing a stark contrast. This stark contrast between spiritual devotion and sexual exploration is jarring. It's not just about showing a flawed character, it's about what that character represents. Nyokabi, who wears a cross and leads a Christian group, is shown repeatedly acting in ways that contradict her faith without much reflection, repentance, or growth. This raises a question. Is Shuga portraying human complexity, or is it subtly undermining Christianity? Throughout the episodes, how does Nyokabi's personal behavior represent Christian values? Nyokabi is meant to be a Christian character, leading the Rachels and wearing a cross necklace. But her actions don't match her faith. Her story focuses on romance and personal exploration, with almost no spiritual growth, prayer, or Bible reading. Instead of guiding her younger sister, she takes advice from her and acts impulsively. At a faith-based event, she could have stood firm, but goes with the crowd, losing control and clashing with her beliefs. The Bible urges believers to flee immorality, but Nyokabi seems to embrace temptation without reflection. Compare that to Asha, who's clear about who she is. She forms relationships, fights for rights, and challenges authority with confidence and consistency. You might not agree with her, but she owns her beliefs. Nyokabi, though, feels like a confusion of identity. If she's a Christian leader, her actions don't show it. This isn't just a flaw, it's a problem when the media uses characters like her to represent faith. You might think, it's just a show, and sure, there's some truth to that, but storytelling in film and TV has a psychological impact. We suspend disbelief, get emotionally invested, and lower our guard. That's when influence happens. We start to internalize the ideas, values, and behaviors we see. We empathize with characters, admire their choices, and sometimes copy them. If a character misrepresents a group, faith-based, cultural, or social, it can slowly change how we view them. Nyokabi's story sends mixed signals about Christianity. Flaws are real and relatable, but constant misalignment without growth can be an issue, especially when she's meant to represent faith. Other characters get clearer, more authentic portrayals of their beliefs. This isn't about being judgmental. It's about recognizing the influence of the media and asking creators to consider the weight of their portrayals. Human flaws are part of storytelling, but when those flaws are consistently linked to one group while others are shown with dignity and clarity, it's worth asking why. In the end, the media shapes culture and by extension shapes us. And that's something we should all pay attention to. Shuga is a powerful series tackling key issues for African youth, and its push for social change is awesome. But it also shows how the media, even with good intentions, can sideline certain views. As the media shapes the values of generations, creators need to think about their messages. Christianity, like any belief, deserves complexity, fairness, and depth. Only then can the media be truly inclusive and respectful. In a continent where faith is central, we have to ask, what future are we shaping when our stories don't reflect the values we hold dear? It's about intentional, thoughtful storytelling that affirms, not erodes, the spiritual heart of society. Thanks for watching, everyone. Was Shuga being honest about human struggles, or is there a deeper bias in how faith was portrayed through characters like Nyokabi? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you liked the video or found it thought-provoking, please like it, share it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, goodbye.